Hello, people, and welcome to my another live stream after a long time. Yeah, actually, I was busy for my other things. This stream, I'm gonna keep it in English because my guest, he's the English speaker, and sorry for the late in the sense of delay in between the streams because I was busy. But I will try to keep one stream in a week at least. Right. So the stream title, as you like in the thumbnail, you saw International Yoga Day, and as it is tomorrow, but we are having today one of my yoga guru, like which I go to, like for go yoga practices and stuff. And I thought, why not invite him on our platform and ask him about his experience of yoga practices, how he come to know about that, and how it is helping his life and others around him who he teaching. And is it like any problems he faced while he uh, like was learning, or any problems he like probably learning because Sanskrit to English and hard to find translations and stuff. And he is I know him for a while, and he is quite famous and around the area. And he do couple of sessions in the weeks, and people come to his classes, and where they practice yoga and spread the message, spread the idea of health and well-being. Um, and I just want to say, people those are living in where still COVID is very active and affecting others' life. Please take precautions. Please follow the government guidelines, and stay home if state ask you to do it. And now I think it's right time to welcome our Guruji Tony. Tony also use uh, Tony also use the middle name as Vedanta, like I use with Advaiti. So we have something in common. So I welcome Tony. Tony, here we go. Namaste, Tony. How are you?
Oh, nice day. Nice to see you, Karen. Yeah.
And, how are you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah.
How,
Thank you for inviting me.
are you most welcome? You're most welcome. How's your day going so far?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Sunday in the UK, we've had some fantastic weather the past few weeks, but it's a bit rainy and grey today.
Yeah.
But it's a day for staying in. It's a day for hibernation. So I'm hibernating a little bit. You know what I mean? And
Any sessions today you had, like cancel or whatever?
yeah, we had a couple of sessions this morning, but because of the ease of lockdown, lockdown is easing, so that means classes are slowly starting again. But surprisingly, there are still people who are a bit nervous about coming out of the house. They're still a bit nervous about meeting face to face. So it's slowly unfolding, So we had a couple of cancellations, and also the class that I normally teach outside, the rain came, so it's had to cancel that one. But yeah,
have you tried online yoga classes, or you have?
you're right. Yeah, the online classes. So yeah, when this COVID first showed its head, everything went online. But I was a little bit nervous about that because I thought, no, I can't teach yoga online. It has to be face to face. So the students were saying, oh, please do it, do it, do it. So I've been doing it for my students actually.
Yeah.
And it's a slow adaptation. I managed to adapt to it slowly. So yeah, I do the online stuff now. There is definitely a place for that. So now that the easing of lockdown is happening, I'm easing back into face-to-face classes, but still people want the online. So I'm trying to work it now so we can do online and face-to-face, so students can attend both, because there's some things that they will learn in face-to-face that you can't get it online.
Yeah, true.
And vice versa. So we can learn,
Yeah, I understand, but I hope things gonna get better now. As we got vaccination there, and most of the people are taking vaccination.
Yeah,
And things are getting better. A lot more better. I hope in a couple of months' time things gonna come back to normal in the UK.
Yeah.
And another way also, when you're teaching online, and it's different when you teach face to face. Because if somebody is doing wrong, you can change it. Like, you can
That's
observe, and like,
that's it.
you can point at mistakes.
That's it.
And yeah, like, well, end of the day, I hope it's gonna be
Yeah.
sooner will we get things better. Anyway, Tony, when you have a session, like, when you have a yoga session, how many
Yeah.
people are maximum people you take in a one session?
Right. You mean the face-to-face sessions,
Face
or
to face, yeah.
okay? So before lockdown, we had the sessions. I had like various classes. In some classes, there were 10 to 12 people, and in some classes, only 5 or 6. So these are the various numbers. I was teaching at some health clubs where you had like 35, 40 people in the class.
Oh,
Yeah. So the dynamic is always changing according to if there's 6 people, it's more intimate, you know what I mean? And you can go more slowly and develop a sort of harmony. If there's 40 people, you can still do that, but there's more energy, there's more. So, it's like a soldiers. You say stand still, everybody stands like that. It's like a formation. So, and obviously you can't touch 40 people in the same way,
of course,
but
yeah.
some transmission can still take place. So
And is it like when you do yoga session, like all race, all kind of people join that, like, all
mm,
sort of backgrounds and stuff?
yeah, I mean, it's very interesting question, because what I find is that, I mean, yoga is becoming more popular now. Yeah. So you do get all types of people of different classes, different age groups. Even more men are coming to class now. So you do get a variety. The majority of people that do attend tend to be Caucasian, European people. And then you get the other Asian person or black person that comes to the class. But it's mostly the white middle classes that are attending
Mhm.
these things. I don't know. They seem to have some connection. They seem to have access to some knowledge, or many of them have traveled, or they have access to certain media. They know about these things. And a lot of the clubs also, where they have the membership, it's more exclusive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, but it's a variety. You know what I mean?
Is it? Do you also have classes for beginners, different, and for, like, those are different levels? Do you have
Yeah.
classes for that?
Yeah, so my classes then, I mean, when it comes to the online classes, I must admit, I've only put the classes out there for my regular students. Yeah. I haven't put the advertising out to attract new students. So when I advertise my online classes, generally I advertise them to my main students, but some of it will go to new students as well, possibly. It goes on the edges to attract new students. So I will put not for complete beginners,
Yeah.
because when it comes to online classes, the type of equipment I'm using, I can only see 4 or 5 people on the screen at one time. So if I've got a new person coming to class, right, I don't know I mean, I ask for medical details before they come, but not everybody's telling me the truth. Oh, they don't mention the blood pressure or the bad back or the bad knee.
Yeah.
So therefore, if they do that in a real class, then I can keep my eye and say, oh, I can see that person. But if the person is at home and they didn't tell me the truth, or even if they told me the truth, a lot of the time people at home, they've got furniture nearby,
Yeah.
or something. And if they slip, and also the floor can be a little bit spongy because of
Yeah.
carpet. So I'm a bit nervous about having somebody. So I tend to have, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
Beginners, like, means, like, how do you like have special classes for beginners, like those
Yeah.
are doing the first time? So
Yeah.
that's why,
So
according to you, you ignoring people when you teach online. So you don't want newcomers to join that. It kind of, like, hard to
that's right.
explain it.
That's
We
right.
understand. Tony, I want to start with it. Like, if you want to give your brief introduction, like, you born and brought up in Britain. You born and brought up in Britain, like you was
Yes,
born here.
yes. So I was born in England. I have
Yeah.
West Indian parents. My parents came here in the 60s, and I was born in 1959. So
Yeah.
I grew up in England. Yeah. So I've been to West Indies once or twice, but I was born and brought up here. And actually, I've been to West Indies once.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that was
How
born
is
up
it?
here.
West Indies.
Oh, Jamaica. Jamaica is my parents' land. Jamaica is beautiful. Honestly, you go to Jamaica. I don't know if you've ever been. I don't know about all the West Indies, but when you go to Jamaica, it's like a landing in paradise. because the sea is beautiful, the sun, the way the sun is coming down, the green foliage and the golden glow, it's absolutely, and the warmth in the air. And when you land, it's like being in heaven. It's like in paradise.
Oh,
Really beautiful. I
that's
don't
good.
understand why people always run into Europe. You come to cold country, and then you have to work so hard to keep warm. I can't understand. But actually, I do, because it's very poor there. So
Yeah.
there's advantages to being in Europe.
Your food is you're living. Food is priority. Like, end of the day, you need something in your stomach before you do anything.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, there is
And
that.
Tony, how would you like to tell us how do you get into yoga and what attracts you? Like, how it's begin. Like,
Mm.
your story.
Yeah, I mean, from a very young age, I knew that I had a feeling that there was something going on with something. You know what I mean? I think we all feel that we have these questions unanswered. And I mean, in the early days, I was into Marvel comic characters, and these Marvel comic characters, like the Hulk, for example. I think he drank something, and then all of a sudden he changed. Yeah, Daredevil, he got hit by radioactive material, then he changed. So all these guys, they went through some form of transformation, and I really believe that there's something going on. I was interested in this alchemy, so I was interested in alchemy, magic, and all these types of things. And I remember I was always into this idea of reflection and thinking, what is this about? And so I found yoga.
Yeah.
So the first images of the yoga, there was a couple of images in the 70s. 70s? Yeah, in the 70s. Yeah, in the 70s, there used to be a TV program, American yoga program that used to come on in the afternoon, maybe 3:30 till 3:55. In those days, black and white TV.
Yeah.
And I used to come home from school, and there was a guy named Richard Hittelman. So Richard Hittelman was a yoga teacher from America, and he used to sit cross-legged, and he presented yoga class. So he had one lady in black leotard on the right-hand side, and they had another lady, black leotard and heavy makeup and earrings, the style of the 70s in those days, and standing on that side. And basically, he would just talk them through some yoga postures, and they would do it. So this lady on this side, she would do the most advanced version, and then this lady would do the most basic. And then he would just talk about, just talk them through the postures, whatever they're doing, side bend, whatever. And then towards the end of the class, he would leave that space, and then he'd go to a different part of the studio, and camera focus on him, and he would talk about philosophy. So it could be something like, oh, we try to be happy in our lives, and we have to let go of bad feeling. And then he would talk about this, for maybe 5 minutes. But when they were doing the yoga, I was transfixed, I was like looking, oh, that's like this. I come home from school with my blazer and my trousers and my satchel. I'm looking like this on the telly. So that was the sort of first connection with the yoga. But then later on, in Birmingham City, there used to be a shop called Hudson's Bookshop.
Yeah.
And I love books, actually. Maybe you can tell.
Yeah. I was going to see
I've
that.
got so many books.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. They are. Yeah.
Anyway, I went into this bookshop, and I was looking in this section of mysticism and all this. And there was a book there called Light on Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Light on Yoga, it was Mr. Iyengar. You probably heard of Mr. Iyengar
Yeah.
from Pune. And he had his book out. And the book, I picked up the book, and inside the book, I was looking at these images, and these images there, they were mesmerizing, you know. So I was just looking through this book, I didn't buy it at that time, but I found it very fascinating. I didn't really understand, actually. But when you look at the images, you saw somebody doing yoga posture, and they're very still. Yeah. So there was something that appealed to me about that. So that was the first connection with the yoga in that sense. And then I didn't start going to yoga classes until much later. And I started going to pranayama classes primarily. Then I started going to Iyengar yoga class. And then I started following it through. Yeah. But at that time, I was in business. When I got a bit older, I went into business. So I was doing yoga, keep fit, yoga, keep fit for cardiovascular, weights for fitness. But the yoga was giving me another element, you know. It's okay to exercise cardiovascular, but the yoga then was addressing the inside. And then that started me cultivating the understanding of
Did,
yoga.
thank you for that. Did you have you gone like into the like before you start teaching? Have you like started? Have you gone like now in now in Western countries like they said, I have 200 hours of training or whatever.
Right.
In those days when you started, was there were any kind of like trainings or anything
Yeah,
available?
yeah. Yeah, there was always yoga training going on. There was always yoga training, teacher training courses. The early ones were a Shivananda yoga school. They used to do a teacher training. I used to read about them. With the teacher, with the Shivananda school, this is one of the early schools in the modern yoga lineage. You would go to a location in the world somewhere. I think the most famous one is the one in Bahamas. You go there for 28 days. You pay money. You go for 28 days, and you learn everything in 28 days, and you come back. Or you could go to Austria, Germany, France, wherever they have these camps. I didn't do that one. But what happened with myself? I was always doing the yoga, but my background was business, so I was doing
Yeah,
business, and then I don't know if anybody knows about the politics of England, but we had this lady called Margaret Thatcher.
yeah, yeah.
So
Prime Minister.
Margaret Thatcher, you remember her? Prime Minister, yeah.
Yeah.
So she created, she done something in the economy which liberated money. Yeah. So she liberated money, and money came to me as a result, and I started some business. So which is because my mind is business, you see. Anyway, cut long story short, basically, she, as a result of that, the economy crashed. We had two recessions very close,
Yeah.
and I was one of the fatalities of that recession. So I went into deep depression and everything. All I had was yoga. So I set myself up to, I was going to go to university. I did actually go into higher education for a while, for 5 years. I set myself to do this, and I was doing more yoga. Yeah. And then I started the yoga teacher training. So with the
Oh,
British Wheel of Yoga is one of the major organizations in the UK. Very good organization, you know, British Wheel of Yoga. And they don't really teach posture, you know, they just teach safety, you know, what is the safety elements of forward bend, backward bend, side bend. They introduce you to basic philosophy, all the nervous system, all the physiology. It's very good. If you've got a British Wheel of Yoga teacher, you know that you're in safe hands. It doesn't mean that other teacher training is not good, but British Wheel is quite thorough, you know. And I've
that's
done it. I've done the teacher
and
training.
thank you for that, Tony. Which one? Which what kind of yoga? Hatha yoga. What kind of yoga are you doing it now, or are you promoting to others? Like which one is
Right.
famous?
Okay.
Yo,
Yeah.
sorry,
So sorry.
sorry. Which one he said?
Okay, yeah. So basically, when I started, so when you're doing the teacher training, right? You do the teacher training, but they don't teach you a tradition or a lineage. You have to do that yourself. So you might be going to a regular guru or another teacher, and this teacher could be from any school. So my influence greatly in the formative days was Mr. Iyengar.
Yeah.
Iyengar yoga was very prevalent in my formative years. Pranayama Lotus on the Rose, which was to do with pranayama and breathing. Drew Yoga, which is a Drew Yoga, is a yoga of the heart. And Satyananda Yoga, a very, very old and very respected school. Satyananda Yoga is really pertaining to the inner work. You know, their practices is to do with the latter four limbs of Patanjali. Yeah, because you know the first four limbs is like yama, nayama, asana, pranayama, external, and then we go internal towards samadhi. So
Hmm.
the Satyananda Yoga School really informs me these days. The Iyengar School is a precision and alignment. You know,
Yeah. More
it's,
physical.
yeah.
More
The
physical.
Drew Yoga is very much heart based. You know, so when you do your Drew Yoga class, you feel your heart vibrating like this. I don't know what's going on there. Anahat is coming alive. And of course, the pranayama then is the breath work for the nadis and to unfold the body. So Satyananda Yoga and Iyengar Yoga, And then I was an Ashtanga yoga teacher, Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga. It became very popular in the West. This is a very dynamic form. Guru man was Satguru Patabi Joyce.
Yeah.
I went to
Uh,
Mysore, studied with him.
and just outside, like it's nothing to do with you. Just a quick question. One of our very, very famous spiritual guru nowadays is Moji. Have you
Moji.
heard Moji? And
Yeah,
yeah,
I had those together straight away. Yeah.
yeah. What is your opinion on him? Like, how you take him? Like, he's quite famous in West. Have you ever?
Yeah. Well, I would like to go to visit Moji one day in Portugal. I think he's moved to Portugal now. I'd like to go and sit in his audience. From what I understand, there is some controversy with Moji. I've read about some stuff with him, and there's been a lot of criticism about him. And somebody was pointing out to me some of the criticism and the controversy. But that's just to the person. What I have to do, I have to concentrate on the message. Yeah. What is the message that he's sharing? How does he create the audience? People are getting so much when you see this audience. People are sitting, even if they're sitting like robots, they still leave there. Even though I'm not in the audience and I listen to what he says, it's so soothing. So if there might be controversy, there might not be, because I'm not there. I don't know. People are talking right, left, and center. Even this morning, I'm listening to this video after we spoke. Controversy with Satguru,
Yeah.
Okay, Satguru, I don't know controversy, but I know that he gives information, So Guru for me is a major man for me. He's nutrients. When you drink nutrients and you feel like you're getting something, he's like that for me.
And Tony, I'm just gonna. The thing is, the sound.
Yeah.
The disturbance is there. I don't know why.
It's only just started, hasn't it?
I think. Just a second. I put myself on.
Oh, you've gone blank now.
Hello.
Blank. Back.
Anyway, we carry on. There's some kind of disturbance there. I don't know. Can you just?
Go on, keep talking.
Yeah, it's better now.
Is it better?
No.
I can hear you. I can hear that sound still.
Right. Okay. Right. Just a quick question for you. Like, when you started yoga, do you ever felt or anybody came to you saying, "Well, you're not Hindu. Why are you doing it?" Have you ever faced this kind of situation?
What situation?
Like, anybody came to you and said, like, you should not be doing it, or any. So far, any Indian approach you to say, don't do it?
Because I'm a man or because I'm a black man?
Yeah. Put it like this way.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's a very interesting question, because when I first started, first of all, especially 30 years ago, because I've been doing for 30, 35 years, I've been involved, right? So 30, 35 years ago, yoga in England, it was really white middle class dominated. Yeah. So when I used to turn up into these places, people used to sort of look a little bit, but it was fine. I was there for the yoga, and I developed relationships with the people, So it was fine, because once people see who you are and that, they start to relax a little bit. So there was some resistance. Even now there's resistance, but you can imagine 35 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But the more interesting thing is in the Hindu community, yeah. Because when I walked in as a black man in Hindu community, more than head turn, they're sort of like, they couldn't understand, But and then I don't know about now, but in those days, you used to hear something called what is it? You can't become a Hindu. You have to be born a Hindu. I've heard that one. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. So, but you see, what saved me in all this is I just concentrate on the message. I do the yoga, and then I try to pursue the truth. And when I'm pursuing the truth, what I feel is the truth, then it's no problem, because I'm being able to sail across very easily. If somebody comes to blow, no matter. I just continue with this journey, and if through that people start to associate you with the truth, and that you find a commonality there, then you find out if someone says to me, for example, "What are you doing here? You should not be here," right? Then then when they hear those words in themselves, they know it's not truth.
Yeah.
So they separate them. With this thinking, they can become contaminated with this thinking.
That's
But if
right.
they have the truth, they don't ask these questions because there's no room for this type of query because it's identifying with here. So that means they're not ready. Maybe they shouldn't be there yet, even themselves. You get what I'm trying to say?
I understand. Can you just speak? Do you have any chance headphones? Because his voice is cracking a lot.
It's getting
Or
worse.
you are more clear to the.
It's getting worse. I don't know. So basically, what I'm saying is that when I'm in a situation, if somebody is going to be communicating with me on if they're using ignorance or they are saying what are you doing here? You should not be here. Immediately, if they're listening to themselves, they find that they're dealing with something which is not truth. Because when we
True.
pursue the truth, everything is that there's no room for that questioning. You know what I mean? There's no room for that type of question. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
agreed.
Yeah,
I
it's different if somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, we don't see many black men um, or black men in yoga. How did you come to this?" This is a different type of question, you know. But if it's coming from the well, you should not be here, you know, that's a
Yeah.
different purpose, you know.
But
So
I noticed now lots of people coming from African background or Jamaican background. They also are very much into yoga nowadays. I noticed that. I don't know, the sound is cracking. Anyway, we got one question for you. Uh, so, Tony, which one's your favorite yoga meditation teacher? Which one is your favorite teacher?
my favorite one, my favorite yoga teacher. I get inspired. I'm always inspired by Vivekananda. He inspires me greatly. Not even Ramakrishna, but Vivekananda really inspires me. Moji, more modern, he inspires me. And so the Hatha yoga teachers that inspire me. I haven't got a yoga teacher that inspires me at the moment because what's happened, everything has changed. You know, everything is yoga, modern yoga has gone through a transformation over the past
Yes.
years. And what was my teacher? My teacher in the Ashtanga yoga tradition of John Scott, he's moved away from England and he's teaching in South America and Italy. And I don't have that connection with him now, but I still want to meet him one day. What I was going to say something about. Oh yeah, the Satyananda yoga tradition. I've suffered greatly, like with many yoga teachers over the past 12 months, with the application of a lockdown. The peer groups have dissolved, and we've made this. There's been a lot of disconnection. So the peer groups, sangha, and all these kirtans, it doesn't happen. So we're actually left sort of swimming in this pond alone. You know, so this question, who is my favorite at the moment, I can only just go hang on to Vivekananda and Moji. These people are always there, but there's no immediate person. In many ways, I'm vacant now. In many ways, so I await the new transition into something new at some point. You know what I mean? So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got it. Just a quick one, just another one. Would you like to share any stories with us where people came to you and that they yoga?
You have to repeat that again. Sorry.
Uh, okay, can you put on yourself mute? Mute. Can you put yourself on mute?
Oh,
Yeah, it's better, but you still can hear me, right? Yeah. So, would you like us to share any stories where people came to you and did practice yoga, and changes happened to them in physically, like they improved, like in terms of weight or health, or any some of the issues they were facing, and yoga helped them out from it, like any stories you want to share with us? You can put yourself on unmute yourself. I'll go on mute.
right. So um, let me see. So immediate transformation. There was a person, that lady that used to come to class. Can't see you, by the way. Hope you can hear me. So there's a lady that used to come to class. This was the early days when I started teaching. And she used to come to class, her head was down like this, and she used to walk in, face was very miserable, very depressed, and basically she used to complain about her back. And then over the weeks, I started to see her. She was getting taller and taller and taller. She used to walk into class with a smile on her face. And oh yes, because because she used to complain about her baby. I said, are you okay? She said, oh, I had a baby. I had a baby. And then after weeks and weeks and weeks, she walked in more straight in class until eventually she was skipping into class singing. You know what I mean? Not singing like this, but you could see that she was joyful to be there. So that was a very good transformation. Another transformation was, again, it's more normal to do with people that are like this because of some trauma or some pain where they're walking, the heart is closed, and over time you see them go like this, and they're not to open. These are the main transformations I've seen. These types of transformation. People who walked in with a limp, they don't limp anymore. Because I know people, because the body is connected to the mind, isn't it? So when the body started getting better, the demeanor started getting better. So I've seen lots of transformations like this. People who come to class with digestive problems, immediately they had great improvement. Because not so much because they were eating the wrong foods, but because of the stress that they were encountering in their lives. Because the digestive system is the first thing that begins to suffer when we're stressed. And so once the stress starts to go, the migraines go, the digestion improve, the demeanor and the attitude. So I've seen these are continuous, ongoing transformations I've seen. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's been some other great transformations. I've been doing it for 30 years. But I can't remember them at the moment. But there's always, even myself, yeah, it's too late. I can't let it go now. I found the yoga. I can't let it go. Because when you know something which is truthful for me, how can you let it go? How can you turn your back on that? Because we know how powerful or potent it is. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Another question to you, because you can if you just put yourself on mute, I'll ask you the question, then you can reply back.
Yeah, it
No
doesn't make
disturbance. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So the another question to you is, do you, when you start doing yoga or anything, uh, do you feel any kind of pressure, like, I have to accept something, so then it's gonna start helping me, like, like it's a kind of any burden you face, like, any kind of pressure of like, as you said, when you started yoga like 30 years ago in England, so that was a new thing, and in here people quick to judge you, like, oh, you become Hindu now or something, like, you know what I mean, like, and have you ever faced these kind of challenges, and how you over it, like any pressures if you ever faced?
So yeah, I mean, I was always attracted to mysticism and mythology, and fables and stories. So when we come to the Hindu scriptures, oh yes, I'm very happy to read about Shiva, and Vishnu and all that, because magic. I like magic, you see, mythology. So I don't have any problem with that. I didn't feel any pressure that I had to become a Hindu, but I wanted to, if I want to, these ideas about Shiva, and these are objects for me that represents an ideology, or they represent a truth. And if we look at all the philosophies in the world, they all have something which represents destruction. They all have something that represents creation. They all have something that represents preservation. It might have a different name. If you look in Viking, they have the same type of things. But because I'm attracted to yoga, yeah, I think I was an Indian man before in previous life. I got that feeling. Seriously, I'm not joking. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with. I don't have a problem having association with this idea. I know that in the British teaching system, in the British School of Yoga, there was some controversy. They say, well, should you be chanting a mantra Om? You know, what are you saying? You know, or you shouldn't talk about Shiva because nobody's Hindu. I don't really talk about these things in class because I understand some people will feel threatened. But you know, the mantra Om. But I do creep. I creep in the Comoran wall every time I'm creeping. You know. But some people do feel that, but I don't feel that myself. Yeah. All I do is I use these. I mean, I can show you Shiva sitting right here now. I'll show you Shiva sitting right here. If you can see him. Can you see him?
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's
Yeah.
kind of a little temple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
So Shiva's there, you know. So I don't have a problem for me. But I don't. What I wanted to say was when a person's following the truth, the sword of truth. I think in Buddhism they have this idea about the sword that cuts through ignorance. When you're following the truth, it's fine. We will go through across the ocean of ignorance. This is one saying I heard. So I don't have a problem with anything like that. Well, I go to Hindu temple. Sometimes I go to Hindu temple before lockdown, and I don't understand everything, but we're in that energy. When I went to India, I went to India for 1 year. Yeah, I didn't go to do hatha yoga. I just went to visit all the temples in major city of Ramakrishna. Yeah, and Vivekananda. I went to Vivekananda Museum. I went to all the temples. I don't understand everything, you know. The best one, most beautiful place I went to was Mathura, Hare Krishna, Balaram temple.
Mathura.
I went to the tour of Krishna's father's house and the original temple. And I don't understand everything. What is what they call it? Bhavana, the flavor. Bhavana?
Bhavana.
Huh?
Bhavana.
Bhavana. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that flavor. So when I came back to England, wow. I don't understand everything, but it's the pure truth. The truth has no language, isn't it? You know? It's just that nectar or whatever. So I don't have a problem, you know, with these things.
I really appreciate. Can you put yourself on mute so you can hear me properly then?
It doesn't make that much difference to me, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Just another quick question to you, because some of the people in this world think consciousness can go into robots. I know, I know what you're gonna say, but I just want people to hear your opinion on that. Would you really think consciousness can go to robots? Please. Tony got freeze.
Because, I mean, when we look at the yoga philosophy and Buddhist philosophy and all that, some of them say everything that we see is from inside. Everything we experience is inside. Everything outside is a projection of what we think, you know. So I was thinking about it. So, for example, I look at myself when I'm phoning the bank, right? You have this automated message, which is a type of artificial intelligence, isn't it? Right? As soon as she starts to ask me for my name, and then she says to me, "Sorry, I did not understand you." I'm thinking, "Oh my God!" So straight away, yeah, I started to become irritated, yeah. And then, "Sorry, we did not recognize that number." Automated machine is telling me this. I'm getting more irritated. I see my blood pressure rising, perspiration is coming down. This is a machine, you know, and I'm getting frustrated with this machine. So am I attributing consciousness to that machine? Or is it my consciousness that I'm projecting into that machine? That bloody machine. The machine is not human. And this is very basic. You know what I mean?
Means, according to you, that is also impossible. Anyway, Tony, I'll see if it's so cracking noise.
It's getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah, sound is getting very cracking. I
Yeah.
think you have. Anyway, Tony, anything else you want to say from your side? Any message you want to give people? Please feel free to do that.
You have to say that again.
Yeah. If you want to give any message Just put yourself on mute. Probably gonna hear it properly. Right. Okay. Can you hear me? Any message you want to give to people, to your listeners, audience, like how why are you doing it, and what's the benefit of that? Please.
Can you type on keyboard the question?
I couldn't hear anything.
No, no, it's getting worse.
I know. I think you have some issues with your signal, or probably you have used the screen at first time, so that's why it's the issue. Is that okay if you just log out and join in again? Probably change. If you just log out, leave the studio, and join again.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Right, people. Hopefully, Tony gonna come back. And before आपको मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ हिंदी में कि ये इसकी हर बंदे की अपनी जर्नी होती है। बंदा हर चीज को अपने तरीके से देखता है। तो लाइक इफ यू कॉल यू, हम लोग तो भारतवासी सनातनी है ना, तो वी डोंट जज पीपल ऑन, they should not be according to how we think. We need to accept people how they are and how they start their journey. Absolutely, Tony lives in a free society. He have right to choose what he want to believe and do, as long as he don't harm anyone or don't force his ideas on anyone. So I think I'm highly impressed with Tony when I met him, and that's why I invite him today on my uh, stream. So especially, I know yoga day is tomorrow, but tomorrow is a working day for all of us. So best is to do on Sunday. He has gone through very much journeys in life, ups and downs, and yoga helped him a lot in lots of stages and depression and stuff. So this he's spreading this message to others. And Tony's back. Let's see if it's better.
Hello?
Hello. Is it better now?
It's much better. Yeah, it's much better.
Oh, great, Tony. Okay, just a quick question to you before we go to the end. Any any message you want to give to people, listeners, like how you feeling now and why you want to continue with yoga?
Okay, so there's two parts to that. There's two parts. I mentioned that the peer group, the Sangha has disappeared because in Birmingham we had one of the senior teachers pass away last year, and no one's taken the place of that. I think it's always good to have a group of people that we can associate with. You know what I mean? Because it helps to keep the spirits up. So, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
My question was like, you want to any message you want to give to people why you're doing it yoga and why you want to carry on with it, like
Okay.
Yeah, please.
So basically, for me, the yoga is a journey. It's a journey towards the self. Yeah, and I'm a bit frustrated at the moment because I feel my journey has been interrupted. The the journey towards the self is obtained through consistent and regular practice. Yeah, COVID has interrupted everything a little bit. So I want to continue the journey so that I can move towards more truth, to understanding more truth. So that's my remit. Yeah. The name of my yoga style or whatever is called sadhana. Sadhana Om. Sadhana, as many of you know, is a spiritual practice. And the reason why I have to do spiritual practice, because what I do when I don't see myself as a teacher in the real sense. I see myself as a facilitator to create a space to invite people so that I can share my experience. Yeah. But I can only get the experience from my practice. See, so I don't try to teach anything that I don't know. I don't know anything actually, but I'm familiar with ideas and I'm familiar with a journey, so I can share the fruits of that, and I can take take them down the path a little bit, and then if I don't know the way, I will consult a higher being. Says, okay, he said we go this way. So that's why I want to continue the journey.
Do you also have any nowadays new students in your class? Like new. Do you have how many? Like let's say in a month, how many new new beginners approach you, like new teachers, new people?
Well, nothing's happened. Nothing's happened in the past 12 months. COVID has affected everything. Yeah. And the other thing about that question is that the yoga world, I think in the whole world, has been there's more teachers than students. Put it that way. You know, there's almost more teachers than students. Everyone's a yoga teacher now, so there is more teachers and less students. In the 30 years ago, there was no teachers. You know, hardly no teachers. And then people that were looking for this was very quiet people, introverted type people used to creep into the yoga class and creep back. But now yoga is, oh yeah, you can be this, you can be that, and you must be like this, and it's very frustrating actually for me anyway.
And Tony, as you are into this field, what do you think? What makes people to attract to yoga too much in West? Why Western Europeans are more attracted to yoga? Why?
Why? I think, well, first of all, the first thing is it works. You know, we know that. You know, hatha yoga works. You know, it can tone the body. It can make you slim. It's part of meditation. You know, it can make you focus. So I think it's very efficacious. The science of yoga, we know that. The other aspect of it, it's trendy. You know, it's a very trendy thing. It goes along with the new wave. It goes along with juicing, detoxing. It goes along with finding finding yourself, your authentic self. It goes along with self-development. You know, be all you can be. So it goes along with all these things. It's in streamline with progress. And in the West, it's about progress, isn't it? You know, meant to be physically and emotionally progress.
That's right. And last question to you, my friend, do you have any plan for tomorrow yoga day? Are you doing anything special?
Tomorrow, right? So tomorrow, I grow food on my allotment, so I will go there in the morning. So I will do that. And well, first thing I will do my meditation. So that's the first thing. So when it comes to the spiritual practice, it's hard to keep up the physical practice all the time. But the most important thing is the meditation. If a person is sitting, just sit in for whatever time, 5 minutes, even 5 minutes is better than 60 minutes if you have 5 minutes quality. That's the regularity of that. That is the foundation of everything. So yeah, the meditation in the morning, I'll go and look at the food to see how it's growing, put some water on it, and then I'm teaching in the evening. You know,
Definitely. And Tony, are you vegetarian? Oh,
yes, I'm vegetarian. Yeah.
since when, like, you become vegetarian?
So yeah, I mean, interesting. When you asked me the question about becoming any feeling of becoming Hindu or anything, what I wanted to add to that was when the person is pursuing the truth, right? What happens when they're pursuing? I like this analogy. It's like you start off on the floor. It's like a rocket, you know, a big rocket, and you're in the top little bit, isn't it? Rocket takes off, yeah. Little bit. First section falls off, yeah. Then go a bit higher. That section falls off until only that little piece is left, yeah. So when everything starts falling off, then you find, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that, yeah. And then eventually you come, well, oh my God, this meat or this food is making me not. No, no, I don't want to say it's bad to eat meat. I'll say this is making me feel this way. I don't need that. The more pure we become, is the less we need. We start to connect with the subtle body. We know that we need to eat food that supports the subtle body. So you become a vegetarian automatically. Automatically, you throw away these things. So I've been a vegetarian for about 30 years. Yeah. But I was always going that way anyway. You know, like I think I was on this path before. But I think yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, all these type of things, they escalate it. Yeah, they move us along quicker, you know.
You have a question, and if you can read that, please. Can you read it?
So it's what's the goal of yoga and how can yoga help youngsters like me in this era? Okay, so thank you for your question. And thank you for your question. Um, what is the goal of yoga? I mean, there's many definitions of the goal of yoga. For me, the goal of yoga is to connect with something larger than myself, to recognize that I can connect with something larger than myself. And there's no separation. I hope that will suffice. How can yoga help youngsters like me? Well, we start off with the practical aspects. That is learning how to culture your self-discipline is good. How to sit still, how to quiet the mind using yoga posture, breathing techniques, how to develop concentration, how to be single-minded, how to develop discrimination, what is right, what is wrong. And I think when we practice the yoga, these things start to materialize. The path starts to open. It becomes obvious. Oh, that's the next step. That's the next step. That's the next step. It starts to reveal itself, and that's the beauty of the yoga. When we practice regularly, the step is revealed to us as we proceed through life. Now, if you're 16, 17, the appropriate step will come to you. You're not going to get the answer that you're going to take when you're 45. The step that you need to take now will start to materialize in front of you, and you can keep practicing. I know that in the Asian culture, you have the marriage, the 4 stages of life, when the marriage is coming at the right time, and that the wife will come, this will come, that will come. When we are serious what we're doing, everything is coming. I know this Patali Joyce, he said, practice, 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 all is coming. Normally we practice, we have expectation of getting this, getting that. But if we just practice, be quiet, cultivate what needs to be cultivated, everything is coming. I hope that answers the question. Can't hear you, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony, for answering that. Can you see that question, please?
Oh, militant atheism, neo-militant atheism. Well, I haven't read that topic. I think I've seen it floating up and down. Neo, I think it means new. Militant means militant, and atheism. If it's how I understand it, I think it's wrong for anybody to enforce their views on another. I think it's wrong. I don't think it's right, because what is the truth? Again, people have different perception of the truth. So how can they go and force it on somebody? So that is just my limited view, my limited understanding. Hope that shines light on that.
That's it, Tony. I think the sound is again. Can you log out and log in again, please? Yeah, can you log out and log in again, please?
Yeah.
Can you log in and log out, please?
Can I talk?
Can you leave the studio and join in again, please?
Log out.
Yes, please. Yeah, and join again. Because I think Tony have done this first time, and probably because of his internet problem. But what he trying to say, the last question, he said on the Voice of Pluto, his opinion was it is wrong. You can't force your idea on others. Everybody have their own perception of truth, and everybody have their own journey to get there. And as far as I understand, Tony's disagreed to that. And if so, Tony's come back, then we'll ask him Sujit Mishra's question. And just to let you know, guys, Tony, before COVID, when COVID wasn't there, so Tony used to do about 3 sessions in a week, in his session about 10. I've been to a couple of sessions, there are people come from all kind of races and all kind of backgrounds and everything, and it is getting very means next to nothing popular kind of thing. Tony's back, and let's see, Tony, how the sound is. It better now? Sound? Do you have headphones?
Me?
Yeah.
Not here. No.
All right, leave it. Now it's better. When you okay. There's a question for you. Just another one. Please.
Yeah, I mean this is a very good question, and the reason why, 2 things about it. International Yoga Day. Karen knows how I feel about it. I'm not sure in making valuable things accessible to everybody, because sometimes when we make everything accessible to everybody, that which we're making accessible can lose its value. Gold is limited, so it's worth a lot. Diamonds is limited, so it's worth a lot. And the same with yoga. However, saying that, when we introduce people to yoga, it improves I mean, a lot of things wrong in the world is to do with greed, aggregate greed and unhappiness. People are unhappy, they make everyone else unhappy. So the whole idea about the role of yoga in making a better world is if everybody is more happy, everybody is seeking more healthy options, then the aggregate of that is going to make a better world. So there's two sides to it. So the opinion of the role of yoga in making a better world, yes, I think the aggregate will make, if everybody's looking for happiness, then there's going to be more happiness being sought. So I think it's a good thing generally.
That's great, Tony. I think sound is better now. Soon I start speaking, I don't know what happens.
Yeah, it changes. I think it gets worse as time goes on.
Yeah, probably internet, but I think we will do this session again. Like when people probably learn from you a lot more in future. And I would just want to say thank you for coming, and we wish you very good luck in your
So much.
spreading the message. And thanks again once again, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's been very inspiring being asked to speak, and it's helped me a lot also. Okay. Good luck on your journey, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you.